So yesterday I noticed that he was still a little nervous with the training stick, and we don't want that. So today we're going to go over more desensitizing and introduce him to more things so that he never has to worry about anything around him. He needs to be 100% comfortable with all of these items. You don't want him scared. Good boy. Come here. Good boy. Here's a good boy. He's flinching a little bit. We don't want that. I do not want him nervous at all. Good boy. Horses will tolerate things when they're standing still. If you really want to know if they've accepted it, move their feet. If his feet are moving, he can't lie whether or not he's okay with it. Good boy. And he stopped, so I'm going to take it away. Now I'm going to bring it back. Good boy. I need him to trust me, and I need to be able to trust him. Good boy. So I'm going to move him and still do this with the sticks. You can see that he's sucking up a little bit in the behind, running forward, away from it, because he's not okay with it. Good boy. Good boy. There we go. Good baby. Good boy. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. I'm going to keep coming away, keep scratching, coming away and scratching. He's still flinching a little bit, but nothing too bad. You can see his skin kind of ripple right here. You notice I'm not all tight on the lead rope. I want him to have room to move if he wants to. We always need to give that horse that exit. As long as it's controlled, where we can get back with him if we need to. He's not running off all over the place and getting into trouble. Good boy. Good baby. Much better. Good boy. So right now he's not flinching as I bring that back up on him. So now we're going to move his feet. Good boy. Good boy. His head's low. He's listening. So he's not overreacting to it now. So I feel a lot better about the stick now. And him not being scared of it. Good boy. I think one of the worst things for a horse is a horse that's head shy, whether it's around the ears or around the nose. I mean, that's where we go to. It's where we have to put the halter on and put the bridle on and all different things. And so if they can't be touched around the head, you know, the ears, the nose, in the mouth and all that stuff, it makes it very, very difficult. So it's so important that they do not have a problem with being touched all over the face. I actually touch inside the mouth, inside the nostrils, in the eyes, you know, around the eyes, inside the ear. I don't go too deep inside the ear, but I do scratch in here. That way if they ever have, you know, anything gets in their ear, they don't have a problem with me getting it out. I do inside the nostrils here. Sometimes their tear ducts up here get blocked, and there's a tiny little hole right here that you use to flush the tear duct. if they are not comfortable with this, then it causes them a lot of stress when that has to be done. By just doing this simple thing of massaging inside the nostril, you stop that from being traumatizing for the horse. And then of course we want to be able to get in the mouth easily so that we can worm, bigger horses, we put bits in, or we're driving a cart, we need a bit. So it's always good. And then you need to be able to check their teeth, make sure their teeth are good. So, and also of course, if their teeth floated, they need to be comfortable. So the more we do with them, the more comfortable they are in all situations. And I think as a responsible horse owner, we should do everything we can to make them as comfortable as possible in every aspect of their life. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good baby. Yeah, that's a good boy. So he has no problem with this rag whatsoever, so we're going to do it in a different way. Make sure. Sometimes accidents happen, sometimes things get thrown, sometimes horses get hit with things. Usually what I do is I act kind of like nothing happened and just keep moving and wipe it away. And what I mean by wipe it away, it's not literally, but just remove the memory of it. If you overreact to it, then they overreact to it. If you act like it never happened and just keep on going, then you're actually helping them have a more positive experience rather than make it even more stressful than it needs to. Good boy. I actually did this with one horse and it was very funny. They would drop their head and the rag would fall on the ground and they would pick the rag up and give it back to me. I didn't teach that. The horse just decided to do it. It was really cool. Good boy. Now I do believe in covering a horse's eyes where they can't see. This is a total trust exercise. It's a good boy. So I'm going to be talking to him for a minute, not you guys. Good boy. Hi baby. Good boy. This is something that is very useful in very, very bad situations. Hopefully something that I will never have to use. But if I had to, it's nice to know I can. Like if there was a fire and you had to pull a horse out of a fire, if they are comfortable being blindfolded, protect their eyes and listen to your voice and follow you out, it would be actually less traumatic for them than to walk through flames. So it's also a trust thing. He can't see, he has to trust my voice. This is something I developed after working with blind horses. Because blind horses rely completely on trust. They have to trust you. They can't see anything. They have to rely on you 100%. Is that right, babe? You're a good boy. Did you polish your teeth? Did you polish? Oh, look, they're so pretty. Your pretty teeth. Good boy. Now, Bullseye used to hate having his mouth touched. He actually used to rear up and strike when I wormed him. So the more I do with his mouth, good boy, the better. Good boy. And walk. And whoa. I'm not going to push that. I could have probably walked him quite a bit further, but this is new and I want to do it slow and steady. I do not want to scare him. And you notice I'm leading off of both sides of him. I do not want him one-sided, so the more I do on both sides, the better he will be. Good boy. And walk. Good boy. Good baby. There you go. Good boy. That was really, really nice. You do not want to do that unless your horse is completely soft. You do not want to traumatize them, so make sure you have a really good, solid foundation to work off. with that exercise. You don't just do that, because that can get very, very scary. Now, I never tuck it in the halter where it won't come off. That way, if something happened and he panicked, you want the rag to be able to fall off so they can see. You definitely don't want them getting loose and it's tucked in the halter and then they run around blind and then they're going to really hurt themselves. So always think of the safety side of it. Good boy. Back. Good boy. I'm going to let him smell it. He's actually never seen this before. And it does make a little bit of noise. Now, some of the obstacle courses, they have to stand in the hula hoop, put their front feet in the hula hoop, you drop the lead rope, and they have to stand still for 5 seconds, and then you go get them and keep going. So he has to understand what the hula hoop is. Now, he doesn't have to wear it, but anything that I do use with the horses, I want them to be 100% comfortable with. So, good boy. Now obviously you do not want to put this straight over his neck right from the start or anything like that, because if he does freak out, you don't want it attached to him. So start slow, make sure he's 100% comfortable. To know if he's comfortable, like before, just move him. See, he's not panicking at all in any way, shape or form. He's very calm about this. Good boy. And whoa. Over. Whoa. Good boy. So we're going to do the other side the same way. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm definitely going to go up and down the legs. If he was to step on the hula hoop in the ring and it popped up and it got up around his legs, we don't want him to be scared by that. So it's very important that you do the legs. A lot of horses are more nervous around the legs, and it's something that we actually instill in the horses. If you think about it, we usually touch their face and their neck and maybe their back, and a lot of people touch their bum, and that's great. But you don't spend as much time with their legs as you do everything else. And so because we don't handle them as much, we actually make them more worried about it. If you took a horse that's never been touched and only touched its legs and nothing else, it would be fine for having its legs touched, but it'd be scared to have its, or uncomfortable having its head touched. So we instill that in the horse. We need to make sure that we spend as much time with everything else, with the whole body, as we do with his head and neck. I mean, we're always going to spend more time with the head and neck because that's where we reward, but we cannot miss the legs. Alright, so I am going to go up and over. Good boy, because he is being very, very calm about this. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he's actually standing in the middle of the big side of the barn where all the horses are, so he's behaving very, very nicely. And considering he's a stallion, I'm very, very proud of how well he's doing with that. I did forget, however, to move him with this on this side, so I need to go back and do that. Walk. Good boy. Walk. And he is not bothered by this at all. So now we're going to put it on the ground. Good boy. And let him look at it. Good boy. He really is not concerned by it at all. Whoa. Come on. Good boy. Come on. And whoa. We bring him back around. We're going to do that again. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Whoa. Come on. Good boy. boy. Whoa. Good boy. In my opinion, you can never desensitize too much. The only thing that I do not like to desensitize is their personality. I like the horses to keep their personality. I don't like to train them to the point where they don't think for themselves and they don't move naturally for themselves. They're kind of robotic. I don't like that. I don't want to break the spirit of a horse. I want him to be who he is, but be my friend and partner at the same time. Good boy. Come on. So he knocked into it. It didn't worry him at all. So I'm going to back him up into it now. Back. Good boy. Good boy. And whoa. That was very, very nice. He dragged his feet backing up and stepped on it and pushed it a couple of times, and he did not get nervous. Now I'm not going to just let him go and practice the whoa in the, I'm going to keep hold of the lead rope. Like I said, we are in a barn full of horses and he is a stallion. But as you can tell, he's very, very relaxed and peaceful working. He's licking and chewing. He's doing really, really well. So I'm going to let him smell it. Good boy. And now I'm going to introduce him to the noise of it. And let him smell it. Good boy. That's okay. Now as before, I'm going to keep doing this till he starts pulling away. Good boy. I'll bring it back to him, let him smell it. Relax the lead, give him every chance he needs to move from it. He's not comfortable, but he's not overly worried about it now. Let him smell it. As you can tell, it's quite noisy, and when you hit something, it's even noisier. You know, things come up and where they have to deal with noisy things. This is a really good way of helping them deal with a loud noise coming out of nowhere. So now he smelt it, I'm going to start rubbing him down with it. Now it's making a little rattling noise, I don't know if you can hear it. Good boy. Good boy. So you see he's not comfortable, but he seems to trust me enough to stand there and let me do this. And then all the way down his legs, up behind him. It's a good boy. Now I'm going to ask him to move. Whoop. If my camera just wiggled a little bit, that's because Widget, my little donkey, is over there playing with the tripod that it's sitting on. Good boy. Now he was not comfortable with that, but he is being accepted. Hang on a minute, I'm going to lose the camera. Widget, out. Good girl. Alright, good boy. And whoa. So as we did it on one side, we're going to do it on the other. Go back, let him smell it. Let him hear it. Good boy. I think just being in my barn gets them used to a lot of noises. I'm always building things, I'm always training, and you know, hanging out with the volunteers over here, and we're not always quiet and laughing and joking. Sometimes we're playing music, and I think it really helps the horses here be more comfortable with all different aspects in their lives, Good boy. I'm going to ask him to move while he's still making the noise. You'll come. Good boy. Good boy. You're a very clever boy. Yes, you are. Good baby. So now I'm going to tap the ground, bring it back to him, just in case something happened to drop something behind him. You want him okay with noises all the way around him. Now it actually just fell off a little bit and accidentally tapped him on the shoulder a little harder than it should have. Not really hard, it didn't hurt him, enough for him to flinch. Went back, scratched that area again, wiped it away. I did not make a big deal about it. I'm not apologizing to him, saying, oh, I'm sorry, what have you, and making it a thing. I don't want it to be a thing. Good boy. Now smell it. Good boy. So water bottle training is very, very important. They make some weird noises, and a lot of people just grab the water bottle, take a drink, and then they go like this, and then they wonder why the horse freaks out. You need to teach them about a water bottle. Good boy. Now I'm going to let him play with it if he wants to taste it. I have no problem with that. So we need to make sure he's very unsure about it. Good boy. You want to show him it's okay. Good boy. I've actually seen several horses get thrown, several people get thrown off a horse because of this. Somebody passes them a bottle of water, they drink it, and they go like this when they're empty. And it's in the horse's blind spot. The horse has strange noise, can't see it, not used to it, and rears up or bucks and takes off. And next thing you know, you have a rider on the ground and a loose horse. Good boy. Good boy, and walk. Good boy. Good boy. And walk. Boy. No matter how much you train a horse, you cannot introduce them to everything. So there's one thing that I train with to desensitize, but I do not let them touch it. And so the benefits of this training is something's going to jump up, scare him. I want him to ask me and to be okay with me. And me telling him, don't worry, it's okay, you're safe. It's very, very important. So for this, we are going to use a white trash bag. I have a hole in the end of the trash bag so the air will blow through it. Now he is very, very scared. If he was able to, he would have ran away already. by just shaking it. A lot of tension on that lead line right now. As soon as he relaxes a bit, I will stop. I don't know if you can see, but his ear is actually moving with the bag. Now he relaxed. Now this is a very important timing. When he relaxes, you need to stop it immediately. You have to take that pressure away. If you keep going, there's no release. He has no reason to get over his fear. I'm going to try and bring him up so we're a little closer. Good boy. As soon as he relaxed, I put it down. And I'm going to pop it right back up, just like if it was blowing in the wind and came at him. This isn't something we do slowly. It's designed to teach him to not panic when something just flies at him unexpectedly. Like I said, never let it touch him. He's quite curious about this bag right now, and I'm pretty sure he would actually like to smell it. I'm not going to allow that to happen. You see, he's not pulling back tight on the rope now. He's doing really well. So now that he's comfortable with it, we are going to move. Now, if he wanted to run right now, he could. He has enough lead. If he wanted to move, he could. You never want to do this with a horse until you have got them past all the other things that you can think of to introduce them to. You need to prepare them mentally and let them have a good deal of trust for you before you start throwing something like this at them, or you will break your trust completely. Good boy. He's quite curious by the bag. He's going to jump up out of nowhere. This horse has good rhythm though. His ear is literally twitching with the bag moving up and down. Good boy. He stepped towards me. That's a softening. I put it back down. Good boy. And he didn't jump so bad that time. Good boy. And he turned his head a little bit towards me, softened to it, so I put it back down. This is also a really good workout on your wrist. So, so don't do this at the end of a training session when you're really, really tired. I actually made the mistake of doing that. My arms are quite tired already. But, okay, you see he licked and chewed? He's not stressed by it. That's very, very good. So, I did beside his face. I've done all the way down his side. I haven't done directly in front of his face. Good boy. Now this ended up being the side of his face, but I'm not going to push it right now. I'm going to keep going here so he relaxes. See the looking for just a little something to let me know. Good boy. Good boy. The movement in the wrong direction, he's turning his head away rather than to, but he's not moving his body away. As soon as he gives me a little bit towards it, I will take the pressure away. Good boy. Good boy. And bring him forward a little bit. Come on. He's quite uncomfortable with this bag. That's okay. We want him to be uncomfortable with it. I want him to be, see that? See how he goes, Mom, what is that bag? It's scaring me. So he asked, and I'm going to tell him it's okay. That's exactly what we want. That is the first time he's actually came to me and asked me, Mom, what is that? Are we good? So rather than run away, he came to me. That is the type of relationship we want with this horse. That's what you want with all of your horses. So I'm going to reward him for that. Good boy. Kind of like a little kid that hides behind their mom, peeks out around the side. On the little guys, it kind of looks that way. It's very cute. Good boy. Good baby. I'm going to step away from him before I start back up. It would not be fair of me or right in any way, shape, or form for me to do that with me up close. Remember when you're up close and his scent is, your scent is in his nose? You do not train there. That's relax only. If they can't relax up close to you, then they can't ever come to you for help. Good boy. Now he's not loosening the line by any movement he's doing. I'm actually doing that. I want to give him room to do what he needs to do. He's actually quite relaxed, but I need him to give me just a little something so I can stop him. Good boy. He's noticed he turned his head into it. It's all it needed. Sometimes all you may get is half an inch, but if it's in the right direction, then you let them have it. If you're waiting for them to walk up and, touch it and everything, you're never going to get anywhere. It has to be done in the smallest of movements. You have to be very, very careful to pay attention to the horse and its movement. Know what the signs of softening and be quick to release the pressure as soon as they soften. And whoa. I don't want him walking with this yet because, that's when we're going to find out how he's lying. But if he ended up walking, I wasn't going to stop. He's doing such a good job. Kind of almost looks like he's going to fall asleep at this point. And there he is, wide awake. Good boy. But does he look like this worries him? His head came towards me and I released it right away. Harry's behind him because of his movement. Well, hi. Good boy. Was that scary, baby? That's scary. I know. You poor thing. His mouth is very, very soft. His eyes are soft. He's apparently bored. No. pop up out of nowhere. It may seem really mean what I'm doing, but this is preparing him for those scary moments. And we'll good boy. Whoa. See, he's trying to get it out from behind him. But I'm not going to let him do that. I just want him to relax just a little bit. And it's not like he's overly amped up. He doesn't like it, but he's accepting. Just be very careful, like I said before, when it's moving. Good boy. When it's moving, or when he's moving, be careful. Do not touch him with it. He will never ever touch this plastic bag. Ever. But I do love the fact that he keeps coming to me. You are a good boy. Now he's waiting for this to pop up. He's predicting what's going to happen. Oh. Notice his reaction to it is way less than it was before. Whoa. Whoa. I don't want him to get right up on me right now while I'm finishing it. Whoa. Good boy. Oh. Oh. Boy, his head dropped. He's licking and chewing. We're going to take this away and tell him what a wonderful boy he is. Good baby. You're a good boy. Yeah. So you have to cover all aspects of the horse, so we have to cover right here. Good boy. You see the head drop just very, very slightly, relaxing. Good boy. Come. Good boy. Good boy. All right, we are going to finish with that for the day. Come on, baby. He did really, really well. I love that he asked me when he was worried. I love how he softened. I didn't enjoy the arm workout. That's the only bad part about that training session. But as far as how he did, it was wonderful. You couldn't ask for anything better. You notice he was very, very accepting with most of those items. So we kept progressing and progressing and progressing until, you know, we found something he was not comfortable with. You can't train them how to handle bad situations if you don't find something that makes them uncomfortable. Good boy. baby. Oh, I know you're so tired. You know? Oh my goodness. Did I wear you out? We didn't even do much today. We just really stood in one place. We only walked a couple of circles. I'm really loving this relationship that we are developing. I mean, it's just, he is a joy to work with. We've had a couple of obstacles along the way, and we want those. We can't train if we don't have any resistance. But his acceptance and the way he's coming around with all the things that I'm putting him through, he's been really, really good and so much fun. When you think about the horse that he was when I picked him up, the horse that reared and struck me and bit me and kicked, you know, you have to learn to let go of those things, because if you don't, I won't be able to sit here with him now in this position. I'm in a very vulnerable position. He may be small, but I guarantee you he could hurt me really bad if he wanted to. So when bad things happen with these horses, you have to let them go. You can't take them with you. You have to get them out of your head, because if not, you cannot move forward. And we wouldn't end up with this wonderful horse that we have before us today.